Hello, everybody, and introduction to Rosh Hashanah. You can find it live on YouTube or in Facebook. And the idea of Rosh Hashanah, one of the things we're reading from Shara Kavanot, it says, בעניין תקיעות של ראש השנה. ובתחילה הבאר סדרם. הנה הם למד תקיעות, תשרת תשת תרת, meaning תקיעה, שברים, תרועה, תקיעה, תקיעה, שברים, תרועה, תקיעה, תרועה, תקיעה. And then you, of course, repeating it, there is 30 blowing in the Chesed, 30 blowing in Gvura, and 30 blowing in Tiferet. And then you have 10 more in Malchut. And last one, of course, this is for Mashiach, this is for under the one, Michael, the angel. Let's understand it a little bit. I mean, what's the purpose of the blowing of the shofar? Now, when you're thinking about it, the blowing of the shofar, it's a sound. It's a sound that basically doesn't have any words. I mean, we are praying, we can pray, we can talk to God, we can negotiate with God, we can tell a story, we can study some Torah with words. When a human being doesn't have just sound, if we will talk to each other with sound, it will sound like ah, oh, e, ah. Then that communication will be kind of like whales or tigers or animal. But because we are human, we are capable to speak, to talk, to communicate by cutting that sound. And think about it, that sound that we are cutting, I'm using the word cutting, because when the sound come out, let's say if it's come like ah, now I can take it into omer, then the same levels of sound is just been divided into 4 letters, a, va, me, and ra. The blowing of the shofar, basically, when it's coming blowing, as the Arizal explained, that we need to do tki'ah, shvarim, tru'ah, tki'ah. There is different type of blowing. So the blowing, what we call chesed, is going to be a sound which is just flat. It just put. Then the shvarim, it will be like 2, 2, 2, 3 times. Then tru'ah will be about 9, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, many of them. And then in the end, always tki'ah. So you always start the blowing with tki'ah and ending with tki'ah. The reason? Well, tki'ah represent chesed. Chesed means kindness. Chesed means mercy. Chesed means in Kabbalah, the right column energy. What is the right column energy? The right column energy is basically the energy of above, what we call the Ensev, the Bore Olam, the beginning, the Keter Chochmah. Then we have basically Shvarim. Shvarim is already represent the dinim, the judgment of the left column. Every time during the year that I was busy with myself, getting what can I get, what I don't get, am I getting the thing that I want? Maybe I didn't get what I want. Busy with my me consciousness, that type of energy called shvarim. Why we call it shvarim? Lishbor, to break it. What is the break it? Well, there is a level in Kabbalah that called basically shvirat akelim, the broken of the vessels. In that dimension, in that level, what end up happening, the light of the Creator want to give everything, and still giving everything, will never stop to give everything. And from the receiver point of view, it was a decision, a contract that we made, that we will not receive because we made a tzimtzum, contraction, meaning we contract our ability to receive because we would like to have an affinity with the Ein Sof, with the Creator. So based on that contract, we can't receive. Well, the vessels below, as we didn't have the DNA of receiving like it used to be in the endless. In the endless, it used to be U v'shmo echad, E and his name are one. E related to the light of the Creator, his name related to the vessel of the Creator. So it used to be the same. So now what happened? After the contraction, after the tzimtzum, it's no longer the same. Now the receiver can only receive for the sake of sharing. So now those vessels being activated to receive. For that reason, they broke. So every time that we are receiving something for ourselves, attention of the mind, attention of the words, or attention of the action. Let's say some of us walk in the street just to get attention. Some of us talk just to get attention. Some of us just think how to get attention. This is called the left column system. The left column system represented by shvarim, shovrim. We are breaking the left column. What exactly are we breaking? Well, in the left column, there is 10 dimensions, what we call 10 sephirot. The upper 3 sephirot called Keter, Chokhmah, and Binah. That level, Keter, Chokhmah, Binah, once it's been activated, this is the identity. This is the consciousness of whatever it represents. So if it represents the whole idea of me, we need to break it. So what do we do with the shofar? We do tekiah first, which is right column. Then we do shvarim. Shvarim, very good. We are now cutting the gimel rishonot, the upper 3 level that represent all the me, the consciousness me, the talking me, and the action me. And by breaking the upper 3 and remove them, we stay only with the lower part. When we stay with the lower part now can have an affinity with the right column, which is tekiah, which is consciousness of unity. But we can't do it until we're doing teruah. Teruah is another dimension. It's basically how Jacob, the center column, the Tiferet, is coming to help the right column and make unification. Without teruah, we cannot make that unification. So it's one thing to remove the consciousness of selfishness, and it's another thing to create unification between the 3 column system. This is exactly the awareness and the consciousness that we need to do on Rosh Hashanah. If you're for some reason going and praying in different synagogue, whatever you're in Chicago, Pittsburgh, New York, or Miami, when you go and pray there in the synagogue, just remember, you didn't do Rosh Hashanah until you have what I just say in mind. Yes, you didn't. I know it makes you feel a little bit bad, but study more. This year is not going to be like any other year. This year is a very powerful year. This year is the year of Pei Dalet. We know Pei Dalet is 84. 84 is exactly the amount of ta'aniyot, the amount of fasting that basically the Arizal, Rabbi Isaac Luria, said to do when you're coming into places that you sin, that you make a crime that has to do with your selfish consciousness. So Rabbi Isaac Luria said you have to fast for 84 days from morning to night. Not at night you can eat, but morning to night. Fasting from morning to night. 84 days if you commit a crime, specific crime of selfishness. I'm not going to go into details. So by making this year Tafshin Pei Dalet, so Pei Dalet, which is Daf, which is Pei Dalet, the whole idea is to get the concept, as it say in Ismach Israel, not Ismach Israel, Ahavat Israel, okay, by one of the rabbi in Vizhnitz, it's written that a lot of time in our generation, people try to fast, but it's difficult. So there is no reason to fast to say, take a daf, take a page of Torah. The next year depends on how much study you do. You have to study at least 1 page a day. Every person has to study 1 page a day and find a teacher to study with. It should be free. It should be available if your desire is great. Just reach out to a teacher, say, I would like to schedule 1 page a day consciousness. And remember, by doing that is something that happened at Rosh Hashanah, going back to the idea of the shofar. The shofar is basically cutting the upper 3 sphirot of the left column, the selfishness, and then we stay with the lower part of the left column. The lower part now need to be unified with the right part, but it will never be unified without the center column. That's the beauty about Rosh Hashanah. That's the beauty about unification. For that reason, now you know we have 3 types of blowing. We have right column blowing, we have left column blowing, and we have a center column blowing. In the same time, we have 30 on the right column, we have 30 on the left column, and we have 30 in the center column. Why do we need to add 10 more or even 11 more? Well, this is the Malchut. This is how you manifest everything. The way it comes across, basically, from a point of consciousness, the first 30 set of blowing has to do with idol worshipping. Idol worshipping, as it says in the Gemara, כל הכועס כאילו עובד עבודה זרה. Every person who get angry this year or rage, this is as if they worship idols. No different, because they believe in their own justice of anger. So this is avodah zarah. The first 30 blowing is definitely for you. The next 30 set of blowing is adultery. Any things of sexual misdoing, misconduct, misbehaving. This has to do with the second set of 30 set of blowing. What does that mean? Doing sexuality in the wrong way. Marry people who have another person beside who they married to. That's considered adultery. Okay? So you can't cheat on your spouse. You can't cheat on your partner. You can leave them, but you can't cheat them. So this is for you. That's 30 set of blowing for you to remove that selfish agenda of the left column. What will be the next 30 set? Well, the 30 set of blowing of the center column has to do with bloodshed. If you kill someone, if you kill an animal, if you kill an ant, if you kill a mosquito, or if you kill someone by speaking bad about them, behind their back or in front of people. This is for you. Those are 30 set of blowing for you. This is called tiferet. That's a center column. Then the last 10 or 11 has to do for all of us who speak behind people's back without even we know we're doing it. We a lot of time find ourselves talk about our brother, our sister, even if they're in the other room, but we will say something to our mother, to our father, to our friend, to our sister, to our brother, to our children, and we speak bad about them. That's considered Lashon Hara in your own house. When you speak Lashon Hara in your own house, don't expect that house to bring peace. A house that Lashon Hara has been speaking there will always have a fight there. Lashon Hara is the mother of all fight. So when people come and tell me usually, we have a lot of argument in our house, we have a lot of fight in our house, I say, how bad you talk about people? So we don't. So you talk bad about each other. They say, yes. So you can't do it. You got to get out of the house, do it in the street. Don't bring it to the tzarat abayit. Don't bring it to your house. And that's why in the end, we have the angel Michael under the one blowing, because the angel Michael is the angel of Am Israel, and that's the angel of bring mercy. By having this consciousness, my friend, of the shofar, as the Hari want to teach us, then of course, you are able to change the year to come. Of course, the person who blows the shofar will have to know that. That's why you have to make sure that the person who is praying and blowing the shofar, know what they're doing. They cannot have just amazing voice or great speaker or great rabbi. They need to know what they're doing according to the Arizal. So make sure that you're choosing your place carefully. And if you didn't choose your place carefully and you're okay to go to Chicago, Miami, London, or Pittsburgh, or New York, go there. But make sure that you study well from our side about all the consciousness of Rosh Hashanah. So even if the person who's blowing doesn't know what they're doing, at least you know what's supposed to be happening. I want to wish you a wonderful Rosh Hashanah and all the best.